Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 404. Andrew here. And for the beginning of our show, I would like to complain about something that bothers the heck out of me. YouTube. Um, Over a month ago, YouTube made another very objectively bad change. They essentially doubled the size of the video thumbnails, which you might think, oh, well, that makes it easier to appreciate the lovely art that people create for their video thumbnails. That's a glass half full way of looking at it. The way I look at it, being a pessimistic putz, is oh great. Now I can only see a quarter of the videos on the screen at the same time. So instead of seeing 24 videos, I can see 6. I can only see, and I've got a fairly large monitor here. I can only see 6 videos at once. That's less, significantly less, particularly considering that sometimes YouTube doesn't load the videos properly and 1 or 2 are missing. And when you've got, 4 rows of 6, not as big a deal, but when you've got 2 rows of 3, if you're missing 1 or 2 videos, well, golly, now you don't see many videos. So I have been writing YouTube every day, multiple times a day. I do actually contact important people, but like I write my Congress peoples and senators and stuff. I do more important things than just yell at YouTube, just in case anyone was wondering. But this is more fun to talk about. So for the past 5-6 weeks, however long it's been, I have been complaining to YouTube every single day, multiple times a day, to no avail. I don't think they care. I don't think they actually read that. I don't think anyone does. Um, and also, I have seen literally 0 people talk about this. Absolutely none. And I've looked. Maybe I'm just looking in all the wrong places, but I have seen no comments, no threads, no no articles, no nothing about anyone giving a heck one way or the other. It might just be one of those things that irritates me and no one else cares. Like, I imagine there's a bunch of people like, yeah, that's less. Now I have to scroll more. But eh, I don't know. I guess maybe some people chalk it up there too. You know what really bothers me is when they put 2 price stickers on a single piece of fruit. I don't need 2 stickers. I can read the clue off of one. I don't need 2 of them. Now that's just an additional sticker I got to pull off when I eat my apple or whatever. Granted, if it's something that you don't eat the peel, like a banana or an avocado or an orange or something like that, I guess it doesn't matter how many stickers are on it. But still, I really hate these gigantic thumbnails. Oh well. I guess I'm the only one of the only people on Earth who's bothered by it. No one else cares. Chaos says I have the same pet peeve. Yeah, Chaos classifies it as a pet peeve. For me, it's aggravating. Every single day I go onto YouTube first thing, I'm like, I gotta send feedback about how much this has sucked. Please at least give us the option to revert back. And I know the option is there because the screen initially loads the original sizes before it flips to the large sizes. You can see the screen load. So it's not like that's an impossible thing, but oh well, bigger problems in the world that I also complain about to seemingly little to no avail, but I guess every little bit helps. So I was editing, I think this last week's Molehill Mountain, where I just chop off the front where I'm setting up things, and the Sunday stream I chop off the front where I'm setting things up, and I remove the break in the middle. Um, I found out that YouTube is uh, promptly going to be making another change that I don't like, and that change is once you make a video edit, you cannot revert the change. It's permanent. So if you screw up, or more likely, YouTube screws up and screws up the edit of your video, you can't revert it. So it's up to you to download your video first and then edit it. And if something goes wrong, well, upload a new copy, which means that now everyone's links are pointing to the wrong thing. Thanks a lot, YouTube. That just makes things worse. Now, at least that one you can see. It's like, well, you know, we pay for the servers that host all this crap, and we don't want to hold the original copy of your video and the edited copy. But, you know, maybe if there was like a little compromise, like, you know, original videos delete after a week, 3 days, 24 hours, something. You know, just meet us in the middle. But then again, YouTube does not care at all about viewers because, as we've discussed many times, we are not YouTube's customer. We are YouTube's product. Our eyeballs, specifically. YouTube does not sell us videos. It sells advertisers our eyeballs. That's what the business model is, so they really don't give a damn. Hey, Chicago. Chaos says, pet peeve is a more polite way of saying major psychotic effing hatred. Okay. Well, there's one. So, yeah, but as I frequently tell YouTube, I would be willing, you know, I'd say, you know what? Tell you what, you deplatform bigotry and harmful disinformation, and I'll stop complaining about this stuff. I've contacted YouTube publicly, and I've said, if you or I've told them, like, if you can resist the urge, not even deplatform bigotry and harmful disinformation, just keep it out of my recommends. Stop recommending it to me. If you can do that for 1 month, 30 days, not only will I stop complaining about it, but I will subscribe to YouTube Prime, or whatever the hell it's called, for life. I will turn off my ad blocker, and I will subscribe to Prime Plus, YouTube Prime, YouTube Gold, whatever the hell it's called, for life. No response. I don't think they care. So every day I have to block entire... You'd think the algorithm would be smart enough to pick up on patterns. It's like, bigotry, harmful disinformation, AI garbage. He blocks the entire channel immediately. Every time we recommend something like that, he just blocks the channel. He's got hundreds of... I must have over 1,000 channels blocked. I must. I do this multiple channels every single day. I must have over 1,000 easily. I'd say that's a fair data set to start determining a pattern here, but I don't think that's how the algorithm works. In fact, I don't think there's an algorithm. I think they just decide what to push. I don't think there's an algorithm. At least not in the way we think. So, yeah, YouTube is here I am on YouTube, and it still sucks. Of course, I'm still on Twitter because, well, that's where some of you are. You know, I've only got, you know, if I had like 100,000 followers and 30 of them were still on Twitter, yeah, I'd just close my Twitter account. But I've got like, actually, I think I have like 500 and some followers, but really, it's only 12. You know, like only maybe 2 of the people I know on Twitter are on Blue Sky. But the nice thing about being small is I'm insulated from all the garbage, seemingly. So that's nice. Last week, we talked about how some gamers, and by gamers I mean industry plants, are really gung-ho about paying lots and lots of money for video games. Like $60 is not enough. We need to pay more. We deserve to pay more. which is an odd position for just some random gamer to make, unless they have stock in a video game company or something like that. Um, and in that little tirade last week, I forgot to mention, because one of the arguments is like, well, with inflation, you see, games are super cheap. You know, they've been $60 for 30 years, which is not true, but whatever, let's go with it. Um, so games just have not increased in price over the years. That just hasn't happened. One thing I forgot to mention is that games have increased in price, just not the base price when taking that argument at face value. It's not true that games have always been $60, but let's pretend that it actually is. That games have been $60 since the mid 90s and have never changed. So we've had a product that we love playing and it's never increased in price. That's not true. What I forgot to point out last week is even if it were true that the $60 base price has not changed over the years, it's been that way for several decades, that's not counting things like subscription services, day one passes, um, season passes, DLC, microtransactions, multiple different flavors of the base product. You know, standard edition, gold edition, ultimate edition, ultra edition. All of that crap is part of the cost of the game. Oh, the game still costs $60. Okay, but you also need to pay 60, $70 a month for internet to actually play a lot of these games, sometimes even the single player ones. Not just because some of them require an online connection, even though they're single player games, but sometimes your games will not work without some type of day one patch. So you have to pay the expense of a monthly internet fee. Now, granted, you can divide that across the price of all the video games you play, whatever. But that's a cost that I didn't have in the 90s, or even for much of the early 2000s. Chicago says, I abandoned Twitter for Blue Sky. Yeah, that's where I am mostly. I just copy all my crap to Twitter just so the folks still there can see what I'm doing. But yeah. Not only is Blue Sky a nicer place, less literal Nazis and bots and stuff. Still a lot of awful people, but it's better. So, that's the thing. It's also functionally better. Like the search feature actually works for the most part on Blue Sky, right? So, like, I would never look at my feed or recommends or anything on Twitter. Oh, Jesus, no. Deluxe Edition update, Game of the Year version, HD remastered version, those two. But, pre-order crap, launch editions, DLC, season passes, day one passes, microtransactions, all of that adds up. Not to mention, are you paying for PlayStation Gold or whatever the Xbox One is? Hell, even Nintendo has one. So again, the whole video games have not become more expensive. Yes, they have. They're just doing that number effery that my apartment does. 2 years ago, when it came under new management, what they did is, okay, we're not increasing your rent, we're just removing some of the features that used to be covered by your rent and making you pay for it separately. But we're not increasing your rent, we're keeping it exactly the same. So if you're paying $2,000 a month for your rent, you're still paying $2,000 a month for your rent. That hasn't changed. The only change is we've taken garbage and gas and grounds maintenance and parking out of your uh, monthly rent and make you pay for that separately. But the monthly rent is still $2,000. You just have to pay $30 a month for the parking space and $20 a month for gas, and then $10 for uh, fumigation for bugs or whatever, and another $10 for landscaping, and $10 for trash. See, we didn't raise your rent. I don't know that there's anyone genuinely stupid enough to fall for that. Well, this is America. But that's kind of how a lot of video games are. Again, not all video games. Just like not all video games in the mid-90s cost $70. Oh yeah, you could find some that at some places at some time cost $60 or $70, but that wasn't the norm. That wasn't all of them. $60 is the average price for a major retail game nowadays. And as much as look at Monster Hunter Wilds, $70 base price. Oh, there's a deluxe edition though. I don't remember what it costs, but it's like probably $90, could be $110. But there's a lot of DLC for that game. I don't know how much, but I remember Monster Hunter World, which came out in 2017 or something. I added up all of the Monster Hunter World DLC. This was prior to Iceborne and probably prior to several. This was like in the first couple of months of Monster Hunter World, and there was like $300 worth of DLC for that game. And that DLC was like costumes and gestures and stickers and music tracks. Stuff that would have been, if it were included, would have just been a base part of the game. We are now paying for stuff that used to be a part of the game. So yes, games have increased in price. We're just paying for them slightly differently. So whenever anyone who's claiming to be just average Joe or Jane or Samantha gamer, and they're saying, you know what, games are too cheap, we should pay more, they're lying. Number one, I don't think they're average Joe, Jane, or Samantha gamer. I think they're someone who works for a video game company and is trying to plant the seed, trying to normalize higher costs for games and get people to forget that you're also paying for internet connection and maybe PlayStation Gold and day one, multiple versions, day one passes, season passes, DLC, microtransactions. They want you to forget about all that stuff. Look, it's $60. It's always been $60. Look how hard we're working. You should want to give us more money for less stuff. Maybe the game will even work. Don't worry, CD Projekt Red, Bethesda company, and like companies, they are committed to making sure that the game meets its promises and even actually runs properly. You just got to give them a year or two after launch. Just stick with it. Keep buying, keep spending. But don't worry, Cyberpunk 2077 is actually good now. It works now. I mean, except the PlayStation 4 version, which was recalled because it didn't work at all. And Fallout 76, 77, 78, somewhere around there, which still doesn't really work, but it's a lot better. And No Man's Sky. There's actually a game in it now. Isn't that great? It only took a couple of years, right? I mean, after, I forget the dude's name and the company's name, but after he bald-faced lied for months leading up to the release of No Man's Sky, they actually met their promise after a few years. So really, games today are exactly the same as games in the 90s. No different. It's just us selfish, self-centered little snots of gamers that are so mean to those hardworking CEOs that keep firing all the people who actually make the games we enjoy. Boy, I'm cynical. Lindy, hello, it's 76. Okay, thank you, Chicago. Fallout 76. The internet in general is a cesspool. Yeah, I make a concerted effort. I don't always succeed, but I do a fair amount of bitching on my podcast, but at least I try and keep it mildly light, at least. I try and at least bitch about things in hopefully what's an entertaining way. But on my socials, I try and keep it light. I don't dwell on the cornucopia of utter horrors infesting the entire world. Not because I'm unaware of them, not because I don't think it's important to acknowledge and work to fix those things, but because I also think it's important for there to be some spaces where you can go and relax and kind of have some fun and not worry about that. So I like talking about movies and cartoons and telling funny little stories about seeing a cat. you know, um, I do, as I, alluded to at the beginning of the podcast, I do actually do the very few things a nobody can do to try and fix the horrors of the world. But I do that in my own time, kind of offline, because it's kind of depressing to talk about, and I don't know I'm being that damn effective anyway. If I may bring things down for a moment. I have, like many of you, I'm sure, been in the unfortunate position where I have had to remove some people from my life because they either became or turned out to be not great, bad actually, and people I didn't want to associate with. What I've had to do this more than once, unfortunately. And I've noticed a pattern which I find darkly amusing. When I remove someone from my life, and what I mean is someone I have a history with, someone who's been a part of my life in some significant manner for some significant duration of time. So, like, a longtime friend that I first met in college, a family member that I've known my entire life. These are the kind of people I'm talking about. Now, if on social media I am followed by, you got a new follower, person X is now following you on this platform. Click, read bio, read the first 10 messages, and if I find out they're a bad person, I just block them. I don't tell them why, I just block them. The nice thing about terrible people is, these days anyway, they're very often not subtle. They're like, horrible person, right in the bio. Oh, great, that saves me time. But when we're talking about friends, family, people you're close to and have known for a long time that either reveal themselves to be or became less than savory people that you no longer want in your life, I am inclined, and maybe this is the wrong way to do it, but the way I do it is I tell them exactly why I don't want them in my life anymore. I'm talking like itemized list kind of a thing. Like, so there's no ambiguity here, right? The darkly amusing commonality I've seen between the sadly more than one peoples I've given the boot is they think I am an asshole, like a really bad person, which I don't know. Like I I don't know. I find that because I've had multiple times these people come back at now. I imagine a lot of it is an emotional reaction. I imagine it hurts to have someone you've been close to or are even related to say, for these reasons, I don't want you in my life anymore. I imagine that really hurts to hear. I imagine someone you're close to telling you that you're a bad person stings a bit. Um, Nevertheless, I've found it, and I'm talking about people who are like virulently bigoted, like full mask off, just horrible, nasty bigots who literally work to hurt people that they've decided to hate. Not over what they do, but who they are. Bigots, right? And so my list is like, bigotry. That's a big one right at the top of the list. You know, itemized list of why I don't want you in my life. I'm like, well, man, you're a dick. Me? I'm embarrassed to have ever known you. You turned out to be a terrible person. Because I don't like you? No one else has extended me the courtesy of an itemized list. It's always been, you're a bad person, or you're a dick, or you're an asshole. I mean, imagine what that means to me coming from a virulent bigot. But, I mean, it does, it is not fun, right? I mean, I'm happier without these people in my life, but I'm not happy that such a portion of my acquaintances, familial or otherwise, turned out to be or became really nasty people. Does that reflect poorly on me? Possibly. Maybe I'm just an absolute shit judge of character sometimes. So, but we can bring that back up. I just always kind of thought it was funny that you know a couple people who have I've removed for bigotry and among other things think that I'm an asshole. I guess for not tolerating bigotry. Actually, I had one longtime friend who literally expected me to be happy to indulge their bigotry because of our relationship. Like, if our relationship was really important to you, you should be happy to indulge my bigoted whims. Which sounds insane, and I spent a good number of months after that encounter replaying that conversation in my mind over and over, um, pathetically but desperately trying to rationalize some way that they didn't mean that. That they couldn't possibly mean that. What kind of horrible person would want you to do that to demonstrate your esteem or affection for them? They couldn't have possibly meant that. They must have misspoke. I must have misunderstood. Some combination of the two. There was a solar flare at the time that fried our brains. Who knows? But I spoke to this person on the phone several months later, and no, that's exactly what they meant. And that is, coming from a person that I had greatly esteemed for multiple decades and had been a really not frequent because we lived in different states, but for a good chunk of the decades we've known each other, we've lived in different states. So not frequent encounters, but definitely a big part of each other's lives. It's just really sad. So, Expedition 33 is $50 and has sold over 3 million copies and may well win Game of the Year. Yeah. I mean, it also took multiple years to make, but yeah, looks great. It's received a lot of great praise, and I should look and see who the hell the developer is and who's publishing it because I don't know off the top of my head. But I really hope that it's not a thing where like, EA or Activision or Microsoft or something like go, oh, hey, they made a great game. Let's buy that studio. And the studio's like, oh my God, this huge publisher with so many resources is purchasing us. We'll have the resources to make bigger, better, more games. And then they make a game, and no matter how it does, they fire everybody and shit can the entire studio. That happens so often. I really hope that doesn't happen here. That would be awful. I mean, look at what happened with Hi-Fi Rush, a game that I actually didn't like, which bums the hell out of me because I was really looking forward to that. Just didn't click with me. But that was a game that was really well received. It was seemed to be, from what I've read, managed in a responsible manner so that it came in at a decent time frame and budget, and looked great, played great, unless you're a putz like me and just didn't connect with it. And then gone. It was popular. People liked it. People were looking forward to more, and they killed it. Because for the, upper managerial class, that's just more profitable. Oh, God, that is so sad. I mean, to undersell people who are, scores of people who are now out of work. Yeah. We buy incomplete games now, says Chicago. Thanks to the internet, they can sell us a half-complete game, then release patches to fix it, Sandfall Interactive, okay. Former Ubisoft developers. Well, I'm glad they got away from Ubisoft. Kepler is the publisher. Okay, not one I know. Interesting. So, I was watching Star Wars Andor when it was airing a couple weeks back. And something that caught my eye, which has caught my eye throughout many Star Wars projects, is the fact that Stormtrooper armor doesn't appear to do anything. There's a scene towards the end of Andor Season 2 where a squad of stormtroopers are storming a building where Andor and whoever the other characters are hiding, and they're gonna go in there and arrest them. And the stormtroopers are wearing their stormtrooper armor, and then there's a higher command dude who's in the gray suit with the wedge hat thing, and someone hands him a stormtrooper armor chest piece, because he's going in with them. He's gonna stay in the back, at the back of the pack with the guns. But they're giving him essentially a bulletproof vest. But it's not a bulletproof vest. It's stormtrooper armor, which, as is shown throughout the entire second season of Andor and the first season of Andor, and really every single other Star Wars project for the last 40-some years, stormtrooper armor doesn't do anything. Like, maybe it would help if someone threw a rock at you, or like tried to punch you, maybe that would absorb the impact, but it don't do crap against blasters. Because as we see clearly throughout the entire show and pretty much the rest of Star Wars, one blaster hit is punching straight through. And everyone has blasters. It's not like, lightsabers, right? Where you don't expect to encounter a lightsaber. No one has lightsabers. Jedis aren't even real. Those are mythical things. People with the laser swords, that's all silly, right? Most people are really surprised when someone pulls out a lightsaber, like, oh, holy shit, what is that? But everyone has a damn blaster, and the Stormtrooper armor doesn't block blaster bolts, like, ever. It just punches straight through every single time. I have no idea what the damn armor is for. I think it's just aesthetic. I think maybe it's a commentary on like the evil fascist machine. They just mass produce this completely ineffective armor because they don't care. They've got plenty of clones and other people signing up for or other people that they just kidnap and conscript into service, and they just don't give a shit. It's why the TIE fighters are like one shot, don't have shields, and one shot and they're completely gone. I don't think the Empire cares about its people. Maybe it's a comment on that. There's a quick exchange in Star Wars Force Awakens, Episode 7, where Finn is talking to Rey. I think they're like trying to hide in the Millennium Falcon stormtroopers coming in. And they throw like a gas bomb in or something like that. And Finn, the point of the scene is Finn communicates to Rey that he has an in-depth understanding of how stormtrooper armor works. He tells her something along the lines of the stormtrooper helmets filter out like smoke and dirt, but not like poisons and gas and things like that. And the first time I saw that, I went, well, that would seem like a useful feature for those bulky, uncomfortable looking, sweaty helmets, right? Oh, well, we wear these. It filters out all kinds of, harmful UV rays and smoke and dust, poison, radiation, everything. It's like, no, it just filters out like some dirt in the air. That's about it. Am I giving Star Wars too little credit? Is it actually a comment on just the horrible evils of the Empire, that they don't care about their people so much that their armor doesn't block any blaster bolts, that their TIE fighters cannot take a single hit without blowing up? Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit. That's some on point cynical commentary, if so. But I always found it really funny, particularly that moment in Andor when they give the higher ranking guy the plastic armor. I'm like, what the hell is that gonna do? And it doesn't do anything. I think that's the guy who gets grabbed by the neck and held as a human shield. He just gets shot in the chest, and the blaster bolts just punch right through because it's just cheap ass plastic. I guess it's supposed to look intimidating, and that's about it. Not really a criticism, it's just something I've noticed that I think is really funny. And it's not like they don't have the technology to get blaster resistant to do shields. We know like ship shields, that's actually a thing in the universe, like the Star Destroyers. Where Darth Vader and the Emperor and General Tarkin and all the upper level command people reside. Yeah, those have shields. You bet your ass those have shields. And we know that they have materials that are predominantly impervious to blaster bolts. Look at the whatever the hell K2SO or whatever that droid, Andor's droid, the Empire droid that he kidnaps and reprograms. That thing is nearly impervious to blaster bolts. They shoot the shit out of that thing and it does not do a thing. It's like, great, make the stormtrooper armor out of that. And again, maybe I'm just selling Star Wars too short. Maybe that's the point. It's like, oh, we just give the actual humans or actual, living beings that are in our employ cheap ass plastic that doesn't do anything. But those droids are expensive. We're going to make sure that they're coated in some material that reflects blaster bolts. Should we do that for our infantry? Nah, fuck them. Plenty where they came from. They're really cheap. Those droids, though, are expensive. Chicago says the Emperor doesn't care about the stormtroopers. He gets their armor at Big Al's Discount Emporium. It was like contracted out to the lowest bidder in the galaxy. Galaxy-wide search for contract bidding war. It just got the lowest damn bid. It's like this really it's like, hey, Star Wars, the movies, yeah? You ever notice that the stormtroopers look like they're just wearing cheap vacuum-formed plastic? Couldn't they spend a little bit more money on the production to make it look better? No. You see, that's the point. The Empire took the lowest bid and got cheap vacuum-formed plastic. Doesn't actually do anything. Hell, the helmets don't even filter out toxins or poisons, just like dirt. Big Al's Discount Emporium, man. Coolest looking armor in sci-fi is Captain Power. I don't know who Captain Power is. Who is that? Chaos says stormtroopers are the equivalent of red shirts in Star Trek. They're just cannon fodder. Yeah. Maybe one of the cartoons have done that, but I'm like, you could lean into that. Some of the stuff that I really enjoyed about the Andor shows was the peek behind the curtain into the mundane bureaucracy of evil, which I find kind of funny, and I think that's intended. It's like, oh, we've got these serious things, these fascists who are doing fascist things, and there's this cute little droid wandering around. It's like, that juxtaposition never fails to be funny, or a weird looking little alien, right? There's that great scene where what's her face is breaking into a hospital to get to what's his face, and in order to do it, she's pushing around some puppet in a space wheelchair, and the whole thing is played completely straight, but you've got this wonderfully dorky little puppet alien thing in a space hover wheelchair, and it's so great. That juxtaposition, that dichotomy between this po-faced, super serious, the music is telling you, man, you should be on the edge of your seat, someone's gonna die, tears will fall, and we've got this wonderful rubber puppet. That's some of the stuff I just love about Star Wars. Also, lasers and stuff and spaceships are fun. Because I may be in my mid-40s, but that stuff is still cool. Moving on. I don't know how to pronounce the name, even though I've watched a couple episodes of the show. There's a show I saw on Crunchyroll, I think, called Kowloon Generic Romance. And, interesting title. And I watched it because the show art had kind of a early 90s influence to its character design, which I thought was kind of eye-catching. And so I gave it a watch. And I'm an absolute softie, so I love me my romances. Also, it seemed to be about adults. Not, the characters are in their young 30s. And I'm like, basically, if I find an anime that's not about high school kids, I'm like, I'm gonna give this a try. So I watched, I think, the first 2 episodes or so, and I don't like it. I like a lot about it. I dig the early 90s inspired visual and character design, and I'm intrigued by the overall premise of the show, which is slowly laying its cards on the table, and each card is, ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, where are they gonna go with this? So they're teasing out what's really going on, and it's intriguing, and I want to know more. But I don't like the main character. Well, the dude, because romance. We got a dude and a dudette, and the dude sucks. He's like just like a really unpleasant person. He's genuinely outright mean to her, which, and you might think, oh, this is going to be two different peoples who fall for each other, and he's going to recognize what a schmuck muffin he's been, and change and be a better person, deserving of his partner's love, that kind of a thing. No, because she's already in love with him. And I've got a problem with that, because I cannot find any reason other than she thinks he's hot that she's in love with this guy, because he's mean. He's unpleasant. He's rude. He's genuinely really nasty to her. And it bothers me that the fact that she digs him is just such a complete turnoff to me that I stopped watching the show, unfortunately. Now I imagine where the show is. I imagine there's a reason for, and the show's already giving some subtle hints about the whys behind why he is the way he is. But that's not an excuse. And I enjoy a good redemption story, a satisfying, well-written redemption story as much as the next person, right? This person has some trauma or incident in his past that is making him emotionally lash out in a very poor manner, right? And throughout the story, he's going to recognize that and reconcile with whatever the hell happened in his past to make him act this way, and pull his head out of his ass and be a better person. And that kind of stuff can be super satisfying. Where I just cannot get past the fact that she digs him. Because, again, other than just sheer physical attraction, there's just nothing there. He's an asshole. He's rude. He's outright mean. He's even physically abusive. Run, woman! Run far, far away! I don't think you're safe around this person, let alone I don't think he's just a schmuck. I don't think you're safe. Now, this, I only watched, I think, 2 episodes. It's entirely possible that this show progresses in a manner that I would find more than satisfying. That's entirely possible. But, oh man, that, for me anyway, as a viewer, that is such a wrong foot to start off on that I just could not get past it. Lindy says, if you ever stumble on an anime not about high school kids, she's a working adult but looks like a child. What's the one? There's one about, it's a romance story. It's about a man and a woman who are, they're probably in their mid-ish 20s, but they work in corporate Japan. They're well past school. They're into the corporate lifestyle, and the show is about the courting of these two professionals who work in the same place. And the gag of the show is the guy is like this hulking 6'6" dude, and the girl, like Lindy says, looks like she's in 6th grade. She's like 4'10" and is really tiny. I forget what the name of the show is, but Now, some people are large and some people are small, and some people are really young looking, even well into their lives, but it can't help but come across as the creators of the show just it's like, oh, no, 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 it's okay for the 12-year-old looking girl to be dressed in her low cut skimpy underwear with a cape because she's actually a dragon lady, so she may look and sound and act like she's 12, but she's actually 500 years old, so it's okay. They'll never suspect. I can't say the average intelligence of my fellow countrymen is particularly high, but come on, Japan. You ain't fooling me with that. She's actually a dragon and 500 years old. Why doesn't she act like she's 500 years old? You know, that might sell better. It's like, yes, she looks like she's 12, but we can justify her skimpy duds because she's 500 years old. Okay, but why does she act like she's also 12? Hmm? You think she would have matured at some point over the last 500 years? Oh, well, she was encased in a crystalline prison for 488 of those years. Oh, so she's actually 12, huh? Anime, man. Anime. Uh, Lindy says that I can change him trope does not work anymore. Yeah, here's the thought. Um, here is Andrew's dating advice. Do not listen to me. Do not take my dating advice. But if I had to offer some, and I don't, but I will because it's fun, it would be date people you like, not people you think you can improve into someone that maybe eventually will be a decent human being. Like I sympathize that that pickings may be particularly slim, but I mean, if you're swiping whatever direction you're swiping, and uh, what even is that? It's a dating app or something where you swipe different. Look, nothing. Well, it always made me sad, particularly in my younger years. And to this day, though, it's less frequent now, I think, but particularly in my late teen years and into my 20s, I knew several people uh, that I cared about, friends, family, acquaintances, who were in some type of relationship, some type of romantic relationship with someone they genuinely didn't like. And I understand relationships are complicated and it's not as easy as please stop dating the person that you don't like or is mean to you or is physically abusive or is like uh controlling or has severe negative attributes. Like it always made me so sad when people I cared about were in relationships with people that, from my perspective anyway, uh, were just loathsome scumsickles. So yeah, date people who are good people and you actually like. There's my dynamite advice. I mean, good luck finding them, because boy, there's a lot of people who suck. So, oh, the suctitude is high with this species. Get a cat. I mean, some cats are assholes, but I mean, at least they're fluffy and cute for the most part. It's like, oh, you're a little asshole, but you are cute. So, uh, yeah, that's my dating advice. Don't get a cat or a dog if you insist, even though cats are objectively better. Um, yeah. Let's see. Chicago says I got a Twitch notification stating that Andrew's playing Trails of Cold Steel. Yeah, Chicago. I'm sorry. I screwed up. I hit start streaming and realized I didn't have my settings right, so it started streaming to the wrong video. So, um, yeah. Chaos says, but I hate everyone. Yeah, that can be a problem. It's like, do you date? No. Why? Have you met people? Yeah. Oh, you think you're so much better? No, I wouldn't want to date me either. I'm terrible. I don't even like Hi-Fi Rush. Can't have pets where you live? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, the where I live, the policy seems to have gone back and forth. It used to be no pets, which is one of the reasons I moved in here in the first place. And then I think they said dog's okay. I'm like, no, of the two, you pick the one that barks. Um, and I think it's since changed to only service dogs, uh, which I don't think anyone actually pays attention to. I knew a woman that I used to work out with. Can't remember her name anymore, but she was a Persian princess. It's what she told me anyway. I have no reason to doubt her. So, Princess of Persia. I don't know if there's like one or multiple, but according to her, she was one of them. And she had a dog, and it was a service dog because she downloaded the service certificate online. And that was apparently good enough for wherever she was trying to take her dog that she otherwise was not supposed to. Um, she actually came across as very princessy, this stereotypically princessy in the manner of sounds like she grew up pampered and used to getting whatever she wanted. Um, she was never, at least to me, I only knew her for the hour or whatever we happened to cross paths in the gym every couple of days a week, you know. But I never had a problem with her. I thought she was a nice person, a little self-centered, and you know, you definitely get it used to getting what she wanted, but not in a mean way, more in kind of a bit of a self-effacing way, you know, kind of an in on the joke kind of a way. You know, oh, I'm definitely rich. I definitely get everything I want, but I'm at least aware of that, and you know, I mean, I'm not going to turn that down, but you know, because it is pretty cool. You know what she was doing for a living? She was going to school to become a lawyer. Again, at least that's what she told me. I have no idea if any of this is true. But I like the idea that I know a Persian princess. Or knew. I don't go to that gym anymore, so no idea where she is. No idea if she's a lawyer now, or if she's still has fraudulent service papers for her dog. And it's a stupid dog too. It's one of those small little yappy dogs, the ones you might stick in a purse. I hate those dogs so much. But yeah, it's like, yeah, that's exactly the kind of dog I expected you to have, Persian princess lady. But man, I mean, if I had the choice, I'd be a Persian princess. That sounds pretty awesome. You know, she sounded like she had it pretty well made. Like according to her, she was going to school to become a lawyer just to make daddy happy, because basically daddy was again, according to her, daddy's like, you have to do something, and she was like, I guess I'll just be a lawyer then. So he just funded her school. I don't know how serious she was. I don't know if she could be just a compulsive liar. I have no idea, but she was a laugh to be around in the gym. So there you go. Chicago says I have a Yorkie Chihuahua mutt. He's adorable and a menace. Yep. Lindy says, I'm grown old and alone, but I'll have cats. I'll have all the cats. There's actually one of the neighborhood cats that I see fairly frequently when I'm out on a run. Uh, I'm gonna guess it not owned by anyone because cat's a bit on the thin side. Um, but it's kind of a weird cat. Usually I see neighborhood cats and they're usually like sitting or laying down somewhere, just kind of enjoying the outdoors, and then they watch you as you go by. Some are more friendly than others. Some are like, I got my eye on you. Don't you approach and we won't have issues. Right? And others are like, pet me. This one I usually see like on its own walk. And it uses the sidewalk. Like I'll be running down the sidewalk and the cat's just kind of trotting towards me on the sidewalk, and we just pass each other, and the cat actually meows at me, but just kind of keeps trotting past. It's the weirdest damn thing. Like this cat's just on its own, doing its, getting its cardio in, getting its steps in. I don't know if that cat has places to be or not, but I find it kind of funny. So yeah, cats are good. I think that's better than dogs. Doesn't mean dogs are bad, but cats are better, and they're both better than people. So at least on average, you can think. I think everyone listening to this is like, yeah, people. I can think of a handful who really, really suck, but I bet you've met a lot of dogs and cats, and I bet you can think of a couple dogs or cats. It's like, you know what? That dog sucked. That cat was an asshole. But I think on balance, it's like, you know what? Most dogs and cats are just they're fine. They're fine. They're dogs and cats. They're fine. People, on the other hand, whew, that's a crapshoot, and the odds do not seem to ever be in my favor. So. All right, that is the podcast for tonight. I hope I didn't bring the mood down too much. Keep your eye on. I'm still working on a video for a little behind-the-scenes look at my participation in Raft Scrap's Be Prepared project, which came out last week. Let's see. Chicago says, my scale, dogs, cats, rats, people. Rats are adorable too. What was I watching recently that had rats in it and they were supposed to be menacing, but I look at them like, they're just adorable. How can you be terrified of that cute little fluffy thing? I mean, you have to work to make rats these. I guess you got to waterlog them or like coat them in tar or something like that, because rats are just fat, fluffy things, right? I mean, maybe if you get like an emaciated, gnarly sewer rat or something like that, that's covered in, poop and grime. But what was it? I don't remember. But there was like, oh god, rats! Oh, there's like 3 horrible rats, and it looks like a rat that they just picked up at a pet shop. It's this immaculate, clean, fluffy snuggle monster of a rat, and I'm like, how I don't know how you can look at that and be off put. I mean, unless you have some particular phobia, then okay. But anyway, all right. That's it for tonight. We're going to Trails of Cold Steel tomorrow. Trails of Cold Steel 2 tomorrow at noon. So look forward to that. I certainly am. Who are we picking up? I think it was we've got Machias. Who else was in town? It was Fee and Elliot. So maybe we'll pick up their trail tomorrow. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Hope to see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream. Until then, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.